Doubles and coffee. Well, all here, like my father, who does still watch Young and Restless and thing after 40 years and the story ain't go nowhere. All you don't have to watch Young and Restless again. All you could just watch Balize House. And Balize House is just total chaos. Penny, while she's storming and trying to follow Kamala and peeking in at the UN and going all around like a vagrant looking to see who she could meet with, who they could get she in a room with. While she outside there, she ain't getting chance to lead nothing called the PNM. It have two former prime minister who say, one say he retired, but he talking more on all kind of issues, looking for relevance and going to visit children to tell them read and things. When he was prime minister, he didn't care if children read, if they pass exam, if they get gate. He wanted to wean all of them off of the resources of the taxpayer and the government money to put it where he and the ministers could recuse themselves. The next one, Stuart Smallpin Young, a selected, undemocratic, oppressive, tyrannical clown. He talking now. Penny don't know which one to talk, who is the leader, who want to lead the PNM. But let me deal with Smallpin. Because I'm trying to figure out all morning if Stuart Smallpin Young is daft, if Stuart Smallpin Young is dotish, if Stuart Smallpin Young is dumb, if Stuart Smallpin Young is dishonest, or if it's all of the above. The Honorable Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar was invited to Washington after making a speech in the UN, after showing strength and character, taking Trinidad and Tobago's foreign policy direct to the doorstep of our #1 trading partner, letting the USA know that our future is intrinsically linked to them. Our trading partner, our energy future, our university future, our sporting future, our tourism future, our investment future. Kamala Persad-Bissessar made a direct change from the PNM that was moving towards Venezuela, Russia, Iran, and China. Kamala Persad-Bissessar said the USA must be our partners for security, for safety, to protect the 7 miles of the Gulf of Paria. Her statements have been strong, and the PNM has criticized her foreign policy at every juncture with Amory Brown after he take off he little kind of dress he had on with his shoulder exposed and so on. Every moment criticizing Kamala Persad-Bissessar and Sean Sobers for our foreign policy that puts our students, our coaches, our athletes, our recreational spaces, our goods, our food, our everything in the safe hands of who we trade with historically. So the USA is our #1 trading partner. Our energy, our safety, our security, our food security, everything. So that's Kamala Persad-Bissessar's policy. Because of that strong policy, she was invited and had to jump on a train to go to Washington to meet with the Secretary of State of the United States. And coming out of that, many discussions of which we don't have all the details, the statement from the Secretary of State office is that they will find a way for energy security based on the US and Trinidad and Tobago's joint policy and belief in safety, security, and the security of the Caribbean, and anti-dictatorship, anti-narco-terrorist, anti-money laundering, anti-Maduro policy where Venezuelan people have run away from in the millions, 8 million people. That is Kamala Persad-Bissessar's policy. The PNM's policy was to love Maduro. Never mind he's a narco-terrorist. Never mind he's a dictator. Never mind he thief election. Never mind he's a money launderer. Never mind he allowing drugs to pass. Never mind any of that. The PNM policy was to go and conga line with Maduro. For Stuart Smallpin Young to go back and forth 12 times in 1 year to go and meet surreptitiously with Delcy Rodriguez, PDVSA officials, and Maduro. Rowley to dance like a clown with Maduro. That is the PNM policy. Kamala Persad-Bissessar is the stark oblique opposite. And therefore the USA has said, listen, there's a possibility, since both of us are on the same page, that Maduro regime must not benefit significantly from any business transaction because he stole election, because he's illegitimate, because they're narco-terrorist, because he's indicted, because there's a $50 million US bounty on his head. And in the courts of the United States, evidence of the grand jury has said that he's a narco-terrorist, but he must not benefit. Stuart Young come out and say, oh, the UNC backtrack and they flip-flop on the dragon gas. Is it that you're daft, Stuart Smallpin Young? Is it that you're dumb? Is it that you're dotish, Smallpin? Or is it that you're just dishonest or all of the above? When is the UNC against any gas? The UNC is not against gas. We need gas. We need lots of gas because you and the PNM for 9.5 years did nothing. Put all our energy eggs in one basket with Maduro and DLC. Broke every rule. Tried to scull. Tried to break sanctions. Paria and Newman George with Aldan and ships coming in April 2020. 1.2 million barrels of fuel that end up in Palo Alto, Venezuela. You feel the USA don't know that? You feel they don't know what your policy was, Stuart Smallpin Young and the PNM? That was your policy, to put all our eggs in one basket. Dragon, secret NDA deals. So much so that the country of Trinidad and Tobago, we don't even know yet. We're waiting for Dr. Monilal in the budget to tell us how much millions of US we have paid Maduro already for nothing. That you signed away, Smallpin. So you were giving Maduro significant benefit. US dollars is significant benefit. Money in his pocket is significant benefit. Kamala Prasad says, and we will get the details. I don't know the details of how it will work, why it will work, if it will work. But we await the details. But the key significant point is that Maduro must not benefit. The PNM was Maduro must benefit. Maduro is the boss. Maduro, I see a woman who's an insurance agent, a supposedly intelligent woman balling. But how you could get it? If you deal with the gas, if you want the cross-border gas, you have to deal with Maduro. No, there are many other options. And you don't deal just because someone has assets. So if a gangster have cocaine money, you must deal with them and go and make deal and get them work and do all kind of thing because them is gangster and they have money. No. You have to stand for something. And Kamala Prasad says and the UNC stand for democracy, freedom, people, patriotism, return of Venezuelan migrants to Venezuela, the country that they love. We uphold the law, democracy, election results, free transfer of power. That's what we stand for, not PNM. Maduro could do what he want. People could run. He could lock up who he want. He could break every law. There could be nepotism, recusals, control of the Supreme Court, taking over the National Assembly in Venezuela. Rowley and Smallpin didn't care. They didn't want to investigate and negotiate with upstreamers. The UNC is not putting all the eggs in one basket. Dragon gas, cross-border gas is good gas. Maduro is not a good regime. Maduro is not a legitimate regime. Maduro is a narco-terrorist. The Kamala Prasad stands against drug cartels. Maduro is in a court in the USA, has been indicted for running and allowing cartels and drugs to move forward. And Kamala Prasad wants to keep our people safe. She has said that the Caribbean is now a zone of war. When you check it, and those other leaders, Mia Motley, with all due respect, stay calm, please. You don't suffer like Trinidad and Tobago. We had 622 murders in 1 year. I think the highest murder rate you had in the last 5 years is 50, Mia Motley. So your blood of your Barbadians is not spilling like the blood of our people, our young people. So you may not understand because you're not swimming in our blood. So, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Mr. Dancer Boy, you who's Rowley's best friend, your top murder rate is 45. 45. We at 622. I mean, it's going down now under Kamala Prasad, and the United National Congress, but it's still not good. We have been awash with blood for 10 years, increasing murder rates under Stuart, the same Stuart Smallpin Young, 519, 539. Then replaced with Fitzgerald, a Talbot, narcolepsy, sleepy, sativa, wooden ladder, ride a horse with an 8-year-old boy in his lap, Heinz, and it went up to 604, 622. Antigua, your murder rate is probably 30 for the year. If we get that, we might celebrate and have 2 carnival. Our children are dying all over. We are a zone of war because of the drug cartels, because of the guns that come in with the drugs, because of the transshipment point. So we have to fight for our people. And to all of y'all who feel that that is not something that we should fight for, then all you don't understand. Because you're not empathetic. You don't feel the pain of the mothers and the grandmothers and the aunties who have to bury their young men, who see their brains and their blood spilling out on the hot asphalt. We don't take that so. Kamla Prasad says is a mother. Every murder, every bit of blood spilled, every child, every woman that is there that bothers her, stops her from sleeping. She will do anything and everything to keep Trinidad and Tobago safe. So Stuart Smallpin Young, UNC didn't change any position on Dragon. UNC always love gas. Gas is the lifeblood. Kamla Prasad says energy policy is across the board. She bring Exxon. She negotiating, sending Monilal to negotiate with Suriname, with Grenada.
And I agree. And that was Senator Anil Roberts. The whole clip is there on Facebook, guys. I wanted to play as much as possible before I run out of time. And it's true. Position is not changed. It is the same on gas. ExxonMobil is back after how many years? But again, PNM could take credit for that.